comparison that we always usually do. What are the for the three cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google, what are the different services that are there? Now, this is where the first one is for AWS. I just wanted to show you the direct connectivity, which is what is direct connect. In AWS, it is direct connect, which is a optical fiber connectivity between data center to AWS. Azure, it is called express route, and Google, it is called interconnect. But direct connect, what it does is provides a dedicated network connection from on-premises to AWS. Likewise, express route and interconnect also does the same thing. In this case, it's going to be express route is going to be data center to Azure, and interconnect is going to be the physical connection from data on-prem to Google Cloud. What is the expression mechanisms that what we can use? S3 transfer of acceleration is one in AWS, where you could speed up the transfer of files using optimized network protocols. In Azure, you could use blob storage transfer, where you could accelerate the data transfer to blob using the Azure's global network. And again, in Google, you could use a transfer appliance, where you use the rackable high-capacity storage server for large data transfers. What are the appliances to transfer the data? AWS has Snowball Wheel, where you could have it's a physical device, it's a rugged box where to come to your data center, you can move the data. It will take shipping time and all food. It can take more than 7 to 10 days. So do consider that fact. It is not cheap. It's going to be expensive as well. There's similar service in Azure Data Box, where you could have large amounts of data moved into storage. In Google, it's called transfer appliance, where it is mainly as I showed you, right? You could use it for 100 terabyte, but are you fine using for 200? Again, you might want to work with a networking team. For storage, AWS, you have these applications like Storage Gateway, that will connect to on-premise software applications and sync up with the cloud storage. It will be kind of physically importing, exporting. Azure, it's also import-export, where you'll be having the service for importing, exporting large amounts of data using hard drives. Now, Google, I was saying, there is this cloud storage transfer service. There is not something exactly similar to Storage Gateway or import-export, but it's somewhat similar. Right, and there are other peripheral services that Google provides, like say data prep, where you could kind of look into how you could provide, and you could also build pipelines as part of moving the data. But this is the closest one that I could see to provide you the comparison. Now, for automating the data transfer between on-prem, like AWS provides data sync. Azure has file sync, where it synchronizes, as the name says, right? It synchronizes the file between the on-prem and Google. And Google as well, right? So it has a similar thing, like storage transfer service, where it automates the data synchronization from GCP to external. Now, what is the service to migrate your data center from, or even you're going to do a backups as well, from a cloud to another region probably. So that is where AWS had acquired Cloud India. It was a third-party company it acquired. And since then, it has really filled that gap. There was a little bit of void because we used to sometimes use scripts to replicate for migrating the data center, but with Cloud India coming in, it works on both Linux and Windows VMs that are hosted on hypervisors, and that is where it supports workloads running on physical servers as well, where you, like say we have a scenario, we want to migrate an application running on physical server. So Cloud India, it could really do the migration from on-prem to like AWS. Now, this is the Azure Site Recovery. Azure Site Recovery, it helps in migrating the applications from on-prem to Azure as well. But not only that, it also helps in the DR scenarios, data disaster recovery, as well as for backup scenarios. Now, Google also has a similar service wherein it had acquired a company, Velostrata, where now they are calling it Migrate for Compute Engine. So Migrate for Compute Engine, it helps in the migration, and using that service, we have done tons of application migration for a lot of customers, where we have come up with a migration operation procedure and a whole lot of processes on how we could migrate, and that is part of our organization runbook. So please drop in a comment if you're interested in those artifacts that are there, and we could always try to look into how we could make it provide. But for that, drop in your comment on those things. So please also drop in a comment that, okay, which service you have used and what is your take on this, the comparison I have showed you, and what do you think is the right option to go ahead with.